What's up? So how to buy a house with 0% down or zero money down? Probably sounds too good to be true, but surprisingly enough, it's not. It's more of what I like to call getting creative. What do I mean by this? There are programs out there like VA loans and USDA loans that we'll talk about here in a second, but those are pretty selective. We're actually going to use what the bank is willing to give us. So when we're going to the closing table, you are bringing zero money to closing. This method I'm about to explain only works for first-time homebuyers, and we're going to use what's called an FHA loan. An FHA loan allows us to use a down payment requirement as little as 3.5%. So if we have a $100,000 property, we'll need to bring $3,500 to closing as a down payment. Now what FHA also offers is grant money. This grant money can go towards your down payment up to $5,000. There are programs for $2,000. There are programs for $2,000, $2,500 in down payment assistance as well. But in this scenario, we're going to use the $5,000 grant for down payment assistance. So FHA is willing to give us up to $5,000 in down payment assistance. And at the same time, they're requiring 3.5% down. Take $5,000 divided by 0.035. In order to purchase this place for zero money down, if you can find a property under $142,000, that $5,000 in grant money will cover that whole down payment. Now we're not going to forget about closing costs. Closing costs can range, and it's usually a percentage of the purchase price. In this case, we'll call it $2,500 to close on this house. If our budget is $142,000 to get that $5,000 covered for the down payment, and closing costs are $2,500, bring that purchase price down another $2,500 because we can request closing costs paid for by the seller. But typically, in order to do that, we have to increase the purchase price. So now our new budget is $139,500. And when we find this place for $139,000, we'll ask for the sellers to pay $2,500 in closing costs if we increase the price of the property by $2,500. In this exact scenario, you will go to the closing table and pay $0. $5,000 in grant money covers the down payment. The increase in purchase price will cover that $2,500 closing cost fee, and you just bought a home for $0 out of pocket. And again, if you think it sounds too good to be true, it's not, because I've had clients in the past that have actually used this exact same method. Shout out to the Bennetts. Now the negatives to this, your monthly payment might be a little bit higher because you're going to have what's called private mortgage insurance, or PMI. And this is an additional monthly fee that the bank is going to charge you for having less than 20% equity in your home. Simpler terms, when you're purchasing the place for less than 20% down. But as soon as you hit 20% equity in your home, that PMI will drop off. The other negative to this FHA grant program is only available to first-time homebuyers. If you're a first-time homebuyer, you're in luck. If you're not a first-time homebuyer and you've already purchased a place, you're SOL. Now, as I mentioned before, there are USDA and VA loans that require 0% down. USDA loan is strictly for rural properties. So you can go buy a place out in the country, somewhere a little bit off the back roads, use what's called a USDA loan. Your interest rate may be a little bit higher, but if you're looking to get into home ownership and you don't have the funds available at the moment, it might be a good trade-off. And then you have the VA loan, which is available to military officials, police officers, etc., etc. So having that restriction there already cuts out a large chunk of people that would be able to qualify for this type of loan. But with the VA loan, it does not have to be out in the country. So if you're not looking to live out in the country, or you're not a military official, you can go purchase a property using an FHA loan. Most people will qualify for this FHA loan. I think the minimum credit score requirement is about 580. There are no restrictions on where you can go purchase one of these properties with an FHA loan. There are some conditions to the type of property you can purchase with an FHA loan. It cannot be a fixer-upper. It cannot be run down. There are a handful of guidelines that FHA will require for this property or the type of property that you're looking to purchase, but nonetheless, it is possible. What's up, man? Neighbor just walked by. And furthermore, the $5,000 grant money or down payment assistance program that FHA has is an awesome option for first-time homebuyers. If you had $5,000 saved up for a down payment already, and then you go and use this $5,000 grant, giving you $10,000 total, your budget or your purchase price just drastically increased. And if you'd like more information on how this works, I have tons of lenders that I can connect you with, and they can kind of run you through the whole process and what that looks like. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.